Hello, and a big welcome to everyone who's come this evening from Australia to Zimbabwe, from all over the world. You've come here tonight. If you're in Asia and you're staying up late, thank you very much. And if you're in the Americas and you're doing a bit earlier, thank you as well. We appreciate all of you guys coming here to learn and explore the London School of Business and Finance. My name's Joe. I'll be your moderator for today. And today's webinar, well, it's a virtual open day webinar with a Q&A. So what's an open day webinar? Well, we're going to explore different parts of the online learning experience and the courses that we offer at the London School of Business and Finance. Who better to navigate that with us than a member of our faculty and a student studying on one of our courses. I'd like to welcome them both today. One of them is online and on our webcam, and the other is on the phone. So let's see the webcam first. It's one of our academic leads, Chris Jasko. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing very well, and thank you very much for taking time out your schedule to kind of discuss our fantastic programs with some prospective students today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. And on the phone, on the line, on the call, we have Maja. Maja, how are you today?
Hi, Joshua. I'm doing fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very well. Now, we're going to find a bit more about both of your backgrounds later as we go through the presentation, and we're going to find out a bit more about what motivated Maja to study online and what Chris is doing with the programs itself. But let's get to our agenda. So our agenda for today, for those that don't know, London School of Business and Finance, we're going to have a quick talk about the institution, what kind of students are studying there, what kind of resources are offered on our programs, how did we start as an organization, and what kind of stuff do we offer. Then we're going to look at online versus campus learning. Now, these are the two the traditional model of brick and mortar and going into campus and studying for your lectures, and the other model, obviously, of online learning, which can be, quite mysterious for some people. So we're going to demystify that for you and talk about online learning as well. Our distance learning or online learning programs, we're going to go and flash through those as well. A classroom demonstration, we have Josh, who's our producer today. He's also working on our marketing team here and is going to give us a wonderful demonstration of our platform so you can guys kind of see what it's like to be a student and navigate yourself around. So application success tips from myself. We'll be going through our application and some study tips as well, hopefully from Maja, who's a successful student. She's going to share with us how she's managing to keep it all together on the course, juggle her busy life schedule and study at the same time. We're going to talk about support. Support might be the last thing anyone's thinking about when they're applying for a program, but it's the first thing you'll think about when you're actually on a program itself. And then we're going to finish with the Q&A. Now, you guys will see that you have a console there and you have questions, and you can go into that box and you can type any question that you want. If you have a question that you'd like to ask the panel, you can ask us, and in about 30 minutes time, we'll have a live Q&A, and I'll put those questions to either to Maja, to Josh, or to Chris, and we can have a discussion on those points. If you have a private question maybe about a particular program or particular situation, then you can have your question answered privately, or we can follow up with one of our educational consultants. So anything's an option for you, but please be as active as possible with your questions, because this session is for you. So you'll get as much out of this session as you put into the session. So please have your questions ready. And thank you very much. That's my introduction. Chris, over to you. Can you just tell us a bit about your background and how you came into your role at the London School of Business and Finance?
Sure, Joe. So my background is in history, art history, and urban development. In the past 15 years, I've worked in journalism. I've been a consultant, but mostly I've been working in education in postgraduate level, in high school level, and most recently in online. I have been with LSBF for 3 years now. I'm currently in the academic lead role, which means I'm the head of the online faculty. So I oversee the delivery of our academic courses, marking, supervision of dissertations, and kind of a upkeep and development of our academic content online. So yeah.
Nice. And so are you responsible for putting together and working with some of our master's programs at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of our main focuses that we have right now. In addition, we also have some short courses, but yeah, the main focus is on the master's courses.
Lovely. And Maja, how did you find out about London School of Business and Finance?
Actually, I'm ACCA student, and before London School, I started with BPP as one of the famous schools, but I haven't been so satisfied, and one colleague of mine recommended me and the London Business School that is really good for this program. Initially, I was a little bit skeptical because since that BPP was the one of the famous one, and I haven't been really happy with them. Then I have doubt to start with the London school, but honestly, when I started with the first class, I was so impressed. So after the first subject, I booked all other subjects afterwards. And this is how I discovered, actually, one colleague of mine told me, recommending me the school.
Well, that's amazing. And so as you can hear now, Maya, she's studying for her ACCA qualifications, and Chris, he's looking after some of our master's programs. And these are the two different offerings that we're going to discuss in a minute. And, Maya, you touched upon there that you had all your resources. What was the online learning environment like for you? Had you studied online before?
Actually, I never studied online before. I mean, I have background in economics and finance. I was studying on a really prestigious university, like in Vienna, here in Switzerland. I did MBA in Italy, but I never had online courses. This is the first time. And I can say that online course is really good because you don't have any you don't have any difference between you are in campus or you are in online, because online is really good quality. Then the second thing, you can use the lectures whenever you want and wherever you want. And since that I'm auditor and I have really long hours, so it means that I can rewatch the videos, I can re-listen once again. So it's really, really good online learning resources. I would recommend this.
Exactly. And you mentioned there earlier, you're an auditor, slaving away over those accounts late into the evening, checking everything's financially accurate, and our students work and study. This is from our global MBA, this particular slide, but it's pretty representative of all of our courses and our accountancy courses. 91% of our students work and study. These online courses are built for those that have a busy studying life. Overall, in the campus, Josh gave me some great statistics earlier, about 50% men and women on the courses, 60% speaking more than 2 languages, and most people are between 25 44 are real career professionals. What motivated you to do your ACCA? Was this a part of your job as an auditor? Is it a requirement that you had to do it?
Yes, this is the requirement that I have to do. And honestly, since that I did the bachelor degree and then MBA degree, I was looking something to do in addition. And then since that I'm auditor, ACCA qualification is the next step that I have to obtain.
Nice. Now we can see that students come from all over the world. Chris, how about the faculty? Where do the kind of faculty members come from, and what backgrounds do they have, your colleagues?
Sure. Well, we currently have an online faculty of 15 members, half of whom hold PhDs or are about to hold PhDs. So we're quite a highly qualified group. We come from 12 different countries and speak 20 languages. We have backgrounds in, I have to read this because it's a really impressive list, I'd say. The oil and gas industry, finance, real estate, tourism, fashion, logistics, marketing, investing, banking, journalism, law. We really have a diverse background. And most of us have taught, obviously, online, but also in live classroom setting. And I think, despite this diversity, we really kind of come together around a passion for online teaching. We all really believe in what can be done online, finding new, innovative, and creative kind of solutions. It's what brings us together. So yeah, it's a really great group that we've got.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I studied for my MBA online as well for my sins, and it was fantastic to have that kind of older demographic that's studying online. Everyone's working. So that means more people have more work experience. So when you're in a classroom, I had one of the people in my classroom was one of the marketing directors for Taco Bell, for example, and you can speak directly to people in these amazing positions and bring experience straight from the classroom. This farm to table approach, straight from the classroom, directly into your corporation, solving work-based problems directly from your course, which I think is fantastic benefit. Now we heard there, some of the courses that we're offering, as well as how prepared you have to be to study online in this new format. So we've got a great poll question for you to kind of find out how much experience you have studying online yourself. So I'm just going to put a poll up. So please, can you all fill up the poll question? It's how much experience do you have with studying online? And I'm launching the poll now. It says, how much experience do you have with studying online? Please select either none, That means you've had no experience at all studying online. Some, you might have done a bit of a course, maybe a Coursera course, something like that, something small, or a lot. Probably something like I've done, an online MBA, for example, or an online degree. Let's have a look. Poll's still in progress. Right, so 61, it's hovering around 60% there. 60% have none, no experience at all. 40% of you guys have some experience studying online, and 0% of you have lots and lots of experience. And that's pretty typical. Maja, do you think it's okay that you didn't have much experience studying online before? Was it easy to pick up?
Yeah, of course, because it's really amazing. I mean, at the beginning, I was a little bit skeptic because, you know, it's different when you are in the classroom talking with other participants. But now when I tried and when I have seen how it works, that you are constantly involved in the class, that you are talking constantly with a teacher, that's really amazing. Especially for me, who is an auditor, who is the active pianist, and who is the mother of 9-month-old son. So for me, that's amazing.
Okay, congratulations, a 9-month-old son. So yes, the boy will be walking soon. I've got a 2-year-old boy, and then you'll be in trouble, Maja. You'll have to study whilst running, literally running after your child. Chris, you know, when we're talking about flexibility, you know, it's a word that we use a lot. What do we really mean by flexibility in terms of how our programs are structured, you know, in terms of maybe how your master's programs are structured?
Right. Well, obviously, like any course you're going to do, there are deadlines. Those are not flexible. You do an assignment, it has to be turned in by a certain date, of course. But I think what's really the amazing thing about online study is that I think, as Maja said earlier, anytime you want to access your lectures, the discussions with other students, the teachers, it's 24/7. If you're on your mobile phone, you can access your lectures, you can access your readings, you can participate in a discussion, you can reach out to your teacher, to your classmates. Everything is literally at your fingertips. If you have a mobile phone, if you have a laptop computer, you can study. And not only that, but you know, our studies combine online work on the platform as well as offline work. So for the work that you do offline, we provide you with a roadmap. We point you towards the readings, the resources. So even if you're not on the platform itself, you can download your PDFs, whatever, and you can take it with you wherever you go.
Exactly. So, you know, you just grab a bit of Wi-Fi and get your PDFs, and then you can go on the move, like this guy here. Maja, do you ever have to study on the go and download your resources like Chris is saying?
Yes, I'm doing that constantly because I'm traveling a lot. Since that I'm auditor, I'm changing my clients really often. So really often here in Switzerland, we are in the train. So I'm downloading, listening, reviewing everything actually on the road.
Oh, wow, exactly.
And the good thing, we have the classes really good structure. So in the moment when I really have classes, for instance, tonight I have P7 with the best teacher, Martin. So in 45 minutes, the next class is starting. So then I would be at home. But everything else, when I need to repeat, to redo some stuff, I'm doing really often on my base.
Catch Martin on the train on the way home. What is it that you find engaging then about the lectures or about Martin, about the material, as we look at, you know, how online learning can be engaging?
Actually, they support you with all required materials. They support you with the plan, how you should structure your studying. They support you how you start, how to progress your subject and your exam. And also they're tutoring for 2 hours, usually per week. It's really amazing. I mean, some first exams I did by myself, like I studied on my own, and it took me really long time. I mean, I spent enormous time of studying and passing the exam. And now for me, I mean, honestly speaking, I hate ACCA. I really hate it. But in the moment that I started in London Business School, now I'm thinking that I would be sad in the moment when I'm seeing that actually I'm going to be really soon graduated. And since last September, I passed plenty of exams. Whenever I did everything what they told me, I would pass for the first sitting.
Wow. I mean, how many papers have you taken so far, Maja?
with the school, I took all together. I did 7 by myself, and I took the 7 by myself. And it could happen that this June I would go for my last exam. And actually, the 7 hardest exams I started this September, so September 2017, and maximum in September 2018, I would be done with those 7 exams. And don't forget that I'm mother of really small baby at home, so my time is really limited.
Exactly. So yeah, so there's kind of it has that flexibility, mobility for you to fit that around, and then aim and kind of goal approach, one paper at a time, I suppose, and then just aim for that.
Usually I'm going for 2.
Ooh, it's a very ambitious, woman.
But this is because of the teacher. This is because of all really good teachers and support. It's not because of me. I'm studying, but it's mostly because of them. Because they really review your progress. They really suggesting you the solutions. If they see that you are struggling with something, they will give you advice how to change your approach, what to do in the next, and so on. And so if you follow all those advices, the passing rate is really 100%. This is what I can say. Because in the past, I mean, I was awarded as one of the best students in university and high school and primary school. But honestly, with ACCA, I failed a few times. Even with my hard working, I failed. And I was so sad. How comes that really good students can fail ACCA? But you need someone to lead you through this program. I mean, you can do by yourself, but you need plenty of time. And you have really plenty of time, then the passing is also guaranteed. But I don't have plenty of time. And when you are working, it's really difficult that you have like hours as you had at university when you didn't need to work, when you didn't need to do other stuff. But with this school, I'm really more than happy.
That's fantastic. You get the kind of the boot camp that you need, the support, and you're locked in to do what you can and to kind of get as much value out of it as possible and to pass those exams.
Yes, it's amazing. I just cannot find the words how I can express my happiness with this school, really.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, as we look at credibility, this is what we're talking about. So it's so we're affiliated with the ACCA for those programs. Online learning is credible. How, Chris, do our programs reflect, current issues in terms of that type of credibility?
Well, I think one of the key kind of characteristics of our courses is the way we do continuous program review. We don't design a module and just leave it. We run several terms per year, and before every term we review the academic content. We're constantly updating the discussions, the assessments, the materials that we provide the students with. So everything is very, very contemporary. And I think it's important to remember that we're working with career professionals, but the faculty also is made up of career professionals. We're the same people that we're teaching, and I think we all have a stake in this. And I think online education is still young in the world, and we're really out to prove that we are the best, and we want to provide our students with a superior learning experience. So we're constantly updating everything that we do: our videos, our lectures, our discussions, everything.
That's very nice. I really like that approach. So let's have a little peek at some of our courses. We can't go into all of them in depth, as otherwise we'd be here all evening. But let's have a look at what we're offering at the moment. So these are our 3 main offerings. People are either studying for their ACCA, or some people call it their ACCA, their CIMA or CIMA, or a master's program. Now, if we look at the ACCA, which is what Maja is studying at the moment, these are the study packages that we're offering. Maja, you spoke earlier that you went to live tuition and revision. In terms of tuition, here are the fees. They're offered for each program, and you can see them here, and you can actually choose your paper and choose your package accordingly. Maja, did you go all out at the beginning, or did you do it step by step, pick a few papers, then move to the next and pick a few papers? How did you set up?
Honestly, I can tell you, at the beginning, as I said, I was a little bit skeptical because I paid one course with BPP, and then I started the course. The course was like reading the notes and reading the notes. It was plenty of information. It was like I was sitting. I didn't find the difference between the BPP and sitting me and the table with my books and just reading and reading and reading. It's again plenty of time. And then I was really skeptic to pay. This is not, I cannot say that this is cheap. This is not cheap. And then I was thinking, okay, I'm going to pay 1,000 francs again, and I'm not sure what I will get back. And then I started with one course, just one, to see how it looks like. And then in the moment after 2 weeks that I have seen how that looks like, then I can say that the value for money, it's really, you get much more than what actually you are paying. I mean, on the first look, it looks like a lot of money, but it's really not. Because at the moment when you are seeing that you are becoming really knowledgeable, that you save a lot of time, that you know what you're going to do, that you know that you understand the subject, and then at the end you pass with a really good score, then you are really feeling really happy. And then I booked 6 or 7 because you have you had some action 2 for 3, something like that. And then I booked 7 subjects at once, literally at once.
Nice.
7, really.
Well, there you go. And those are the papers, the live tuition papers you can see here as well. And it's an ecosystem that we provide.
And I took everything. Sorry for interrupting you. I took tuition, revision, everything what you are offering.
All the videos, all the support, everything that you could possibly get so that you pass these exams and be an auditor. Exactly. So and we obviously think of all of our accountancy professionals coming through our accountancy programs and possibly into our master's programs. Chris, is there kind of a pathway for those that want to then go and pursue a master's after maybe doing some of their ACCA papers?
Absolutely, yeah. I think for people who hold any of these ACCA or CIMA qualifications, when they're applying for a master's course, they can receive exemptions. So up to 4 exemptions for one of the master's modules or master's courses, excuse me. So, they can essentially bypass up to about 50% of the course. So yeah, of course, there is a path which allows you to jump ahead based on your other qualifications that you hold.
Perfect. And if we're looking also at the fee course structure, I mean, I did my MBA online. It was at least 3 to 4 times as much in terms of the price. So I think it's very good value for money if you're getting especially all the same materials in terms of the live support, the HD videos, and all of that, which you do get across all of our programs, masters as well. And can you talk a bit about our global MBA? What kind of people are studying on our MBA, and what are the kind of objectives of our MBA students?
Well, I think as you saw earlier, the profile of the students is in this 25 to 34-year-old range. A lot of them are established professionals, people who are working. We talked about the flexibility earlier. These are people who have families, they have a full-time job, and they are looking to advance their career. So they come in, they do this degree. It takes a minimum of 18 months. And upon completion, they're looking to advance to a higher position at their job, or change to a different career. I think we have the mid-career, the late career, as well as the early career. But we really have the full range. And I think you mentioned earlier that we really do have people from around the world. It's the Americas, it's Europe, it's Africa, it's Asia, it's Australia. It's really, everyone you can imagine.
I mean, I think that the fact that we have 16 specializations is fantastic. It shows the kind of thinking behind our courses to kind of be surgical and pinpoint what people really need to specialize in. How do you design these courses? How do you go about figuring out what kind of specializations to offer, Chris, and how to kind of design the learning outcomes? How do you do that?
Well, we work together with the awarding body, which is an Italian university, Nettuno in this case, and obviously all of these courses are validated in a certain way, including those learning outcomes. But again, as I said, we're doing continuous program review. which means we regularly look at the learning outcomes, we look at the modules themselves. For example, if we see that the marketing course needs a more focus on digital, we can go in that direction. You know, we have the flexibility, and because we're constantly, you know, as an academic team, we're not only teaching, we're always writing. So we're always looking to advance what we've got. And if that means developing a module into something which is more current, we can do that. If it means developing new specializations, you know, I think it's important to realize that our academic team doesn't work in isolation. We sit in the same building as our student recruitment. We sit in the same building as our marketers, as the team which is offering support to our online students. So we're constantly listening to what our students need and want, and doing the market research, and as well as doing the academic research. So we have a lot of points of input where we're getting ideas for how we can make our courses more and more relevant and current to the students.
That's perfect. And on that note, that's a lovely, lovely segue for our next poll, where we're going to kind of find out what courses are people interested in. So based on what you guys have learned now, let's have another poll. What course are you most interested in at the moment? So I'm going to launch that poll now. Select one of the following: ACCA, CIMA, master's program, or you're not sure yet, you're still looking at a course. Okay, very, very interesting. We've got about, let's stop the poll. About 15% are looking at ACCA or CIMA. About 18% are not sure, and we do have a 70% of people are looking at master's programs. So we do have our master's programs as well. I'm just going to close that poll, and thank you for everyone for doing those polls. So for those that are interested in our master's programs, just like magic, we have some lovely handouts for you as well. So you can go to our handouts and you'll see the 3 online brochures available for you for the MA in Finance and Investment, for the MSc in Marketing, and for the Global MBA. Please go ahead and download your handout and you can find out more about that as well. Now let's have a little demonstration of the online learning platform, because it's very good to talk about studying online, but it's even better to show it. So we have Josh. Josh, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello,
Glad
Josh.
to
I'm
be
just
as
going
well.
to pick you. Thank you. Josh, I'm just going to select you as an organizer, and then that will mean that you'll have the screen. You just accept it. Thank you. And if you'd just like to give like a little 5-minute demonstration of what people can expect with the online learning environment. Thank you.
Sure. Whatever program you choose to study with LSBF, the learning platform is essentially the same and it follows the same principles. So for masters, we have Global MBA, the 2 finance and investment programs, and the 1 strategic marketing. It starts out on this page, which is basically just your profile. You can upload a great picture of you. You have, you can choose your notification preferences, how often you want to get notified, how you would like notifications to come. Useful thing is here in the files. Over time, you'll upload different assignments. You'll have conversations with different students, with support, with your faculty, and you can easily access those from this one central page. And then in the dashboard, you can also see the modules that you have. So right now I have a demo F9 for ACCA. And in here you get everything for the whole F9 paper. So it starts out with welcome, where you can meet different people, different students, your student support, your faculties, but then you can also scroll through the various resources that we have, which there's quite a lot. We have TED talks, different flashcards, notes from your faculty on specific points in the modules, things that are highlighted of higher importance than others. You can have discussions with each other as students, but also with your support team, with faculty, etc. And then learning online, there's lots of different ways, but a large thing that you'll have is the videos. And we use something called dynamic stream switching in all our videos. Cool thing with that, regardless of your internet connection, the video should always load. So if you are at some beautiful waterfall on a remote island having a great time and you still need to study for your ACCA or one of the PG programs, it's all here. And the video bitrate will play and adjust according to the internet speed that you have. So that's something that's really cool, fun to play with. And then you also have discussion tasks, and then the assessments that you'll have at the end, which will be in the form of papers, assignments given to you by faculty. And for each of these, you'll go through the entire thing, and then it unlocks the next stage of the process. Then in the calendar, you can add stuff yourself. You just click on the day and it pops up. So if you want to set a reminder to study, start an assessment, ask your faculty about something, you can add it yourself. But then also when you have deadlines coming up, they'll appear in your calendar. Student support will remind you of them, as will your tutors and faculty. So you'll really never miss anything because it's all customizable right at your fingertips. Then also your inbox, it's exactly what it sounds like. You'll have conversations with faculty, tutors, other students. And one of the coolest features, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, is with our student support, we have right over here the live chat bubble. So you can start conversations with the various members of the support team or with faculty, and you can get really quick responses to whatever questions that you have. And also, if you're not on the platform, you can schedule these to go into your personal inbox. So you can access them by email, even when you're not logged into the online study platform. I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to tell you everything, otherwise there'll be no surprises when you start studying.
Exactly. Well, and I'm going to take the presenter reins back. Thank you very, very much, Josh. So that's the online learning environment. So pretty simple, plug and play, and you can contact support, and you will be contacting support once you become a student on our program, because you will need support throughout your program. You won't be able to hand in everything perfectly as you want to all the time. It won't work like that. Online learning is, like doing a master's is like running a marathon or climbing a really tall mountain. It's really, really hard, but it is meant to be rewarding. So stay in there. And we have a small video that we'd like to show you. This video, Maya, is with Rob Sowerby, who I believe is one of your tutors, and he's just going to talk a bit about the process of how they have the online materials for LSBF ACC tuition courses. I'm just going to play that.
My name is Rob, and I'm the Director of Professional Courses at LSBF. I'm here today to take you through our approach to studies. We believe in having subject specialists who teach from their own notes rather than presenting from a generic script. We make a distinction between lecturing and tutoring. Yes, we lecture the subject matter, but at the same time, we tutor you, equipping you with the important skills, techniques, and motivation necessary to get you through your professional exams. Whichever paper you are studying, whether that would be for ACCA or CIMA, you will receive subject expertise with notes specifically prepared by your tutor. This means your tutor won't go through the syllabus in abstract, but will put it into context, making it easier to understand both in the exam hall and at work. We appreciate that you have limited time in which to do your studies, so we offer slightly longer courses on the basis that lecture time is precious and cuts down on what you have to do outside the lecture room. Our tuition courses are comprehensive, which means on revision, you can focus on such things as scoring marks and managing your time, giving you that critical edge in the exam hall. We hope to see you soon at LSBF.
Thank you very much. Maya, did you ever have Rob as a lecturer?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Could you repeat the question?
Rob Sowerby, was he ever your lecturer?
No, I didn't have.
You haven't had Rob. What lecturers have you had? Martin.
Yeah, I had Martin, which is my favorite one. Then I had David. He's also really amazing. Then I have Joseph. He's also really good. And honestly, I had one lady for F6, but I forgot her name because I'm really bad in names. Sorry.
That's no
but
problem.
David is for two exams, and Martin is for 2 exams, and John he's for F9, and then I forgot for F6. So sorry, but all of them is amazing.
So what we have here, just bear with me a second. What we have here is the application process. So many of you might have started your application process, but some of you may not have already. You might not have filled out your details. You may not have sent us your CV or done any of your motivation statement, for example. So let's have a little talk through the application process. It is a very simple process. You'll see on our website, there's apply now for the ACCA revision papers. You can also apply for master's programs. There's different types of application processes depending on what you're applying for, and you can have different backgrounds depending on what you're applying for as well. Chris spoke earlier about there being two major paths. Chris, can you highlight again, what are the two major paths that people can come into if they want to study for a master's program?
Sure. Well, there's the standard route, which is based on your previously achieved qualifications. But there's also the non-standard route, which is for people who may have a lot of management experience, but less qualifications. So there's basically, yeah, the standard routes and then the non-standard route, which is for people who are more advanced in their careers. Yeah.
Now, Maja, you went down a pretty standard route. You must have, because you've got an MBA, as you said. You went to another institution to look at some ACCA courses. So you kind of came in that way. Do you remember your initial application? And can you kind of tell the audience a bit about the role of your education consultant, I believe is Kreshnik, who helps you from the beginning, and how do they help you now?
Actually, I called your school, and then one support person has been, delegated to me. And I can say that this guy was also really amazing because he explained me in details how the school works. At the beginning, again, I would say that I was a little bit skeptic because I found that as a good marketing. So I didn't trust well, since that I had a really, I cannot say bad experience with BPP. I just didn't like them. And then he explained me all details, and whatever he told me was really true. He said all what we are telling to students tonight. And then afterwards, whenever I needed him, he responded to all my emails and took all the action in maximum 1 or 2 hours after I raised the question. So the support is also amazing.
That's absolutely perfect. And then you're still speaking to your educational consultant now, because Kreshnik actually suggested you as a guest for the webinar. So it's good to see that you're still actually in contact and you're still speaking to people as you're getting through each paper one at a time.
Yes.
Well, let's have a little look. We talked about that earlier about student support. Now we have, lots of tutors and support staff helping students all over the world. We have tutors who will help you through your modules, the first person to approach. And student support is here for any queries from how to submit your assignment to what happens when you need help or cannot hand in work. And you saw earlier, there's just a little button there that you click and the chat box comes up and you can actually contact student support anytime from within your modules as well. So thank you very much. And that concludes the main part of our presentation today. Thanks very much, Chris and Maja, for taking all those questions. We do run two very different paths in our professional ACCA tuition path and also our master's path, but they can be connected, as you can come and take your qualifications and kind of go and develop and do your master's program as well without having to necessarily start at the beginning. And we have some fantastic questions, and some of them, unsurprisingly, are in that area. So I'm just going to go to question time now, and it's not too late to send in your questions. So if you haven't asked a question yet, please write in the box now and send us your question, and we'll see if we can get to it before the session ends. It's question time. Right, and Josh is also available to take questions. Josh, if you can stick your mic on, just in case we need to ask you a question as well. So hello, I've started my application for an MBA program, but my transcript is delaying the completion of my application. Is there any way to complete it and send the transcript at a later date? I'll ask you this one, Josh, because you might know a bit more about student support actually. How do people handle an application if it's running late, if they're waiting for transcripts? What are their options?
Well, unfortunately, you won't be able to start a program without all of the application documents being submitted, but it is possible to be conditionally accepted pending the submission of a transcript, but you won't be able to start until it is submitted. So you could apply to start right now and then just defer it to the next intake pending submission of the transcript.
Exactly. So yeah, you have to get an offer from the university, and that's going to be based on your credentials. You're not going to be able to start bona fide as a student until you've got all the documentation in line. But there are certain parts of the process that you can get started already. You can submit your CV. You can start discussing things with your education consultant as well. Where would I take my exams for ACCA? So that's a good question. Are they online? Where are they? You know, we have a partnership with the ACCA, so you'll have people who also speak to you from the ACCA themselves, and they'll be organizing things for you, and you'll have people from the London School of Business and Finance will be supporting you on your program as well. Maja, how does that work in terms of taking your exams?
I mean, you can take each country. You can sit in each country. You can sit the exams. So all the exams are on the same day and on the same time. So for instance, if we have P7 on Monday in June, you would have in Switzerland, in Bern, you would have in London, you would have all around the world on Monday, 4th of June is P7. So you just need to pay and to apply over ACCA website, and then you're just going for exam.
Okay, so what's that like? Is that quite straightforward? Do you just log in and set up yourself with an account with the ACCA, and then you kind of log into their system and set up your exams with them? Is that how you do that?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, good. There's a few people asking.
And you can sit everywhere. I mean, in each country, you can sit the exam all around the world. You just choose the place. If you sit in Germany or in Finland, in the main town of the country, you can go for exam.
Okay, perfect. We have another question, which is funny because it's kind of the opposite of exams. It's how are we assessed on the master's programs? Is it coursework or exam based? So Chris, yeah, how do you assess students on the MBA, for example? Because I know that's very popular.
So none of our master's programs feature exams. The students are assessed 100% on the basis of an assignment, usually in some essay form, depending on what the module is. We assess the students' contributions in activities such as discussions, but this is more to provide the student with some sort of guidance. You know, how am I doing? How am I progressing? So, you know, obviously the students need to know during the course of their module how well they've understood all the things that they're learning, but 100% it comes from an assignment at the end of the module. No exams.
Okay. Another question that's good for you here as well. Are there any discussion groups or shared classes, shared activities? And maybe there's some collaborative work that might be done on the master's program. Is that possible on the program as well, Chris?
At the moment, we don't have any assessed group work, but we have lots of different types of activities. Students can interact within discussions. We have discussions where students can contribute audio answers or even video answers. We send students offline. You know, we admit that there are other good resources out there. We send students to those. But you know, I think one of the main kind of parts of our philosophy to online learning is that the more you participate, the more you're going to go out, the more you're going to benefit, the more you're going to learn. So we're constantly developing new types of activities which have the students interacting together. The students aren't only going to gain knowledge from their tutors, they're going to gain knowledge from each other because we have so many experienced professionals on the courses. So really, we're not only tutors, but we're facilitating ways for the students to participate and to be in group discussions together. So yeah, I mean, there is no assessed group work, but lots of opportunities to interact within groups and to work together.
Exactly. It's more like academic enablers. You know, we use this term kind of pracademics, these scholar practitioner academics. You know, people start their master's program often, you know, wanting to accelerate maybe in their own career. Some people take it because they want to change careers, but there's this other group that want to take it because they want to kind of advance within their own business and start their own enterprise and be an entrepreneur. And I think as they come through the course, I think there's a higher percentage of people that maybe think they can be consultants or maybe even academics and run their own business. Do you find that to be the case as well for the people that you're teaching on the program?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said earlier, we really get every type, from the entrepreneurs to the people starting their careers, to the people who just want to gain an extra qualification, something to culminate all the work they've done over the course of their career. And really, there's so much to be gained from interacting with these people as well as our tutors. And I'm still in touch with a lot of my former students now, and it's amazing hearing about the things that they're doing now. And yeah, we've we've had some really amazing students, so I'm proud to have worked with them.
Exactly, and so am I. Proud to work with all of our fantastic students, and there are networking, opportunities for all of them as well. Another classic question. I don't think I've ever do a webinar where I don't get this question. How many hours a week will I have to study? Now, it's going to differ depending on what you're doing. At the moment, Maya, you said that you're trying to juggle 2 papers at the same time. Typically,
Usually,
how many hours do you study?
I mean, depends. For instance, P2 is a really hard exam, so I studied more than some other exams. So it's really difficult to say, because, for instance, P7 is it's audit, which is also difficult for someone, but it's not difficult for me because I'm doing that job. So it's really hard to say. But overall, during the week, I cannot study a lot because I'm working and then having the classes in the evening, but I would study Saturday and Sundays. I would not study full days. I mean, before the exam, I would study full, but it doesn't mean every Saturday, every Sunday. Depends. Depends on the exam and depends on your experience.
And do you have to sacrifice a lot to be an online student? My experience is that I did have to give up a few, evenings out, and I cut down on a few costs.
No, I don't sacrifice. Honestly, I was really sacrificing before London School of Business. At some point, I wanted to give up ACCA, honestly. But now I'm really enjoying. And in 10 minutes, I'm starting marketing classes, and I'm really looking forward to go for a class.
Exactly, that's fantastic as well. Now, we have some other questions. I'd like to find out how much it will cost to register for online interactive classes. All the course costs are actually on the website, so go check out the LSBF website, and you can see there under ACCA or CIMA, you can see all of the courses available and the cost, depending on what kind of package you go for, whether you go for the full tuition packages or something less, whether you do one module at a time, one paper at a time, or you decide to do a number of papers at the same time. So go and check that out, and you'll be able to find out the costing there. Your education consultant should also be able to help you there. The majority of you that are in this discussion either with one or soon will be with an education consultant who will discuss all of these things with you guys as well. We have a few other questions. People are getting quite specific with their transcripts as well. A question here, I've got a bachelor's in engineering. Same time I started another online program in business economics many years ago, did not complete the 3rd year. Is it possible to apply while waiting for the completion of the bachelor? So these are all very specific questions. And again, your education consultant can kind of discuss that with you and discuss what's right for you. As Josh said earlier, if you've got outstanding transcripts and documentation, you're going to need to get that in order, but everything is doable with a plan. So you have to start planning, looking at that intake date, when you want to start, and trying to get everything in order for that date as well. Another one, what is the difference really between doing a master's without a specialization, like a standard MBA, and doing an MBA with a specialization, as different institutions seem to offer different options? Chris, would you like to answer that one?
Well, we've got a lot of different specializations which are available on the MBA, as well as the other courses. It's down to you. What do you want to do? What is your experience? Do you want to change things up, go into a different field, or do you want to advance and do the research at the end of your work on the basis of something you have done, the company that you're working for? I think we have students with a lot of different circumstances. Many of our students come to us because their work sponsors them to do an online degree, and they do want something, a specialization which matches up with what they're doing, what their company does. So we offer a really wide range of specializations to cater to whatever your needs are. I think we can work with students. Obviously, we want the course to be as personalized as possible. So we're happy to work with individual students, whether they take a specialization or not. It's really down to them.
Exactly. So we'll be seeing the global MBA with the cryptocurrency blockchain specialization very soon, I'm sure, if it's not there already. We've had a lot of questions from everyone, and some of those questions have been answered privately and will be followed up as well with support and with our consultants over the next few days. I'd like to thank our guests today for coming to our session and answering all these questions and giving us kind of a big tour of everything that we do at the London School of Business and Finance. Please look out for your emails to all of our audience members today, as we'll start to get more specific and run our webinars looking particularly at our individual master's courses and at our finance professional tuition revision packages as well. So please keep up for that. I'd like to put our last question to Maja for the day. Maja, if you had to go back to the beginning of your studies, if you remember what motivated you, what advice would you give to anyone out there right now, such as the people on the call, who may be a bit hesitant, don't know whether to start now, or don't know about online learning? What advice would you give them if they're looking to start a course?
I mean, if they have any doubt that the online course is not that good as the real course at campus, that's not true. Online course is really amazing, especially for the people who are really working. And if I'm going back, I regret that I didn't start the online courses a long time ago, because today I would be done with ACCA and I might take something new because I really like studying.
Exactly.
This would be really my, I mean, it's not advice, it's just my experience. So because at the beginning I was, as I said, I was really skeptic with online tuition, revision and everything. I was thinking that how someone can teach me online, it's different when you are at campus, right? But today, since that the technology is really far away from the year to year, what we had in the past, I would always go for online studying.
Thank you very much. I really believe, that online learning is the catalyst, for your career acceleration. And that's truly what we believe at the London School of Business and Finance. I'd like to thank our guests today. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you very much, Joe. It was a real pleasure talking to you and listening to you, Maja. It was really fascinating. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Joseph. Yes,
And
thank you from my side as well.
And thank you to Josh for producing the session. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, guys. It was lovely. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Thanks. And if you've missed part of the session, you've come in late, don't worry. We'll be sending you a copy of the recording. Some of you, if not most of you, might be watching the recording now, either through Facebook or through your emails. So if you have any questions for us, please, click on the links provided to you, apply for our programs, give us a call, and we'd love to speak about accelerating your career through our online programs. My name is Joe. This has been a webinar for the London School of Business and Finance. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.